Hi everybody, hope you're all good. I am talking today again to the lovely Kirsty Wilson. Some of you, I'm sure, have watched the chat that Kirsty and I had a couple of weeks ago. Kirsty is known as the Midlife Transformer, and she is a Menopause Wellness Coach. So Kirsty is so knowledgeable about the menopause, and I think it was brilliant that in the last conversation we had, she talked about the lead up, the perimenopause, or the lead up to it. And you also said something, Kirsty, which really resonated with me. It's like you don't go through the menopause. That's it. Once you start on that journey, that's kind of you for the rest of your life. Yeah. And you really need to take as much care of yourself and obviously do as much as you can to age well and to age healthily, because now we have this lack of estrogen and we have all these challenges that we're facing now, and it's really kind of up to us to do as much as we can, as you said last time, without beating ourselves up, which we're all very good at. Yeah. But to do what we can. So there was so much to talk about, Kirsty, and obviously we couldn't do it all in the one go. And I was wondering today if we could talk a bit more about sleep, because I do think when I talk to friends of mine and, women and clients that are similar ages to us, sleep's a huge topic of conversation. When I look at my daughters, their friends, they probably don't even talk about their sleep unless they're a hangover type thing, And whereas now, this is all we seem to be talking about. So could you give us a bit of chat, Kirsty, on why our sleep's affected and maybe some of the things we can do to help?
Yeah, absolutely. Just starting with a little anecdote, actually, it's supposedly a thing at the moment that all middle-aged women give their partners a synopsis of how they've slept during the night the minute they wake up. So I've only had 3 hours sleep, or I've been awake since 5 a.m. That's like so common, but it comes from somewhere, right? We're not just making it up. And there is a whole lot going on. I think the first thing is women generally, can let their sleep be affected by normal life. So even younger women, we go through that stage where our kids maybe keep us up, or that we have a lot in our minds, a lot in our plates, metaphorically, and, that's all going on in our head at night. Then changes happen through the menopause. Really actually from your mid-30s, that estrogen's falling, changes happen. So the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone dropping all have effect on our sleep. Progesterone's actually produces a nice sedative effect in the brain, and that's starting to fall. So whether you have any stress in your sleep, in your life, at all, you may find that sleep is affected. So there are hormonal reasons for it. Then we throw into the mix that you may have general feelings of anxiety, whether it's things life's putting upon you or whether it's actually being caused by the hormonal changes, potentially a mixture of both. So you can see how things start to get complicated here. Could be stopping you from falling over to sleep at night, maybe causing your sleep to be disturbed. The quality of sleep may not be as good either. Then we have what we call the vasomotor symptoms. So that's your hot flushings and night sweats, your inability to control your body temperature. So I actually get what I would describe as like, they're not a cold flash, as in like I feel that clammy way. I actually find it really hard to regulate my temperature. So when I'm cold, I can't heat up, just the same as when I'm too hot, I find it harder to cool down. So all those things may be affecting your sleep through menopause. There's practical everyday things, no matter who you are. So whether you're a 20-year-old boy or whether you're a menopausal woman, that you can be doing to help your sleep. And I think it's like anything, we have to say, am I doing everything I can for myself? And I'm going to run through some of these things just now. And the way that I kind of try to look at my day when it comes to getting a good night's sleep is from the minute I wake up. But I'm going to reiterate, like I said the first time we spoke, that it's not saying to someone that they're realistically going to go out and do all these things today. We have to start implementing one little habit at a time, because again, we just end up in that land of overwhelm, and the way our bodies work at the moment, we're going to do ourselves an injustice. So
you almost don't want to set yourself up to fail.
You don't, because then there's a disappointment and all that comes with us in the cycle we get into. We can come back to that in more detail when we're talking about dieting. But when we get up in the morning, yeah, I still like my coffee in the morning, and I have a second one about 9:30 or something, but 10 a.m. is my cut-off for coffee. Most people would be okay probably till lunchtime, but caffeine has got what we call a really long half-life, so which means that half of it is still in your body if you're going to sleep at like 10 at night. So people say, oh, well, I'm not affected by that, but actually they're still tired in the morning. So they might be getting to sleep okay, but caffeine actually binds to the same receptors in the brain as melatonin that helps us get to sleep. So caffeine's taking its place, so we may not be getting as deep a sleep. And I get it, it's really, really hard because you're tired, you've maybe been up with sweats or pacing the floor with anxiety, and you're shattered, so you want the coffee. So it is a wee bit of tough love in the first few days, potentially maybe some headaches, extra fatigue, but it is worth it. So we want to really try and get rid of, go for your decaf in the afternoon, and psychologically you still feel as though you're getting your wee coffee. Your diet soft drinks generally don't have as much as your coffee. However, if you're struggling to sleep, it'd be wise to look at moving to decaf versions of them as well. The next kind of stage of the day is to try and get a little bit of daylight. Now, if you're sitting there maybe in an office job and environment, you're thinking, how am I going to get that? And actually, for a lot of people, it might be the last thing that comes along because it's that concerted effort to get out a walk. And for us, particularly in Scotland, in the mornings, that's no longer a choice of getting some daylight hours. So it would mean actually getting out on your lunch break. And I get that that's not possible for everyone. But if you can get some daylight, it helps remind the body that you're supposed to maybe be awake and active just now. And then when we start that wind down routine at night, that's the signal that it's dark and quiet. So it's like the reverse of that. Are you a coffee drinker, Mag?
Well, I am actually. I do. And now we used to laugh at, my mum and mother-in-law, you'd ask them to want a coffee, they'd look at their watch, and I used to laugh at them, but now that's me. What time is it? Yeah, I would drink that, not in the afternoon, and I would really notice it if I have to drink Coke. If I had to drink Coca-Cola, I always really struggle to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, we do like it. It is a hard one, but there are some nice alternatives out there, as something else to have different that's not a soft
And do you
drink.
think, see, like these teas, that just talking about my mum again, she used to drink some kind of tea, she called it sleepy tea. I think it was actually called sleepy tea. It must be some kind of chamomile tea.
Yeah.
She used to drink it every night, and she swore by it. And I don't know whether it was a bit of the placebo effect or whatever you call it. Like,
I think there is a lot of that. I mean, there's not any.
She swore by it.
It's a bit like spraying lavender in your pillow. I think half of it is actually just the nice routine you have at night. It's got a huge part to play there, and that's something that I'll speak about. Exercise is something as well. That the more, when you're active, you definitely sleep well. And I've got to put my hands up at the start of this and say, actually, I am not the best sleeper, right? But I do have chats with myself a lot about, am I doing everything that I can? It definitely, since I've been in perimenopause, has deteriorated. But when the days that I manage maybe my training plus a big brisk walk, and that's not like every day by any manner of means, but I do settle down to bed easier at night. When it comes to regulating body temperature, because of that, the hot effects that wake people up, there's a couple of things that are useful. Firstly, making sure that your room is chilly cold when you go into it at night. So leaving windows open during the day. Yes, even in the midst of winter, you should feel cold when you go in your room. Let your other half moan if you likes, right? Because who's going to moan more when we're knackered in the morning? So have the room nice and cold so that you need to go under the covers. And also a hot shower right before bed is really, really good at regulating your body temperature.
God, I thought that's interesting. I would have thought that'd be the opposite.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that. So, but it's also, could be a bath as well, but it's also part of that whole lovely wind down night. So the one that everybody at the moment finds the hardest is cutting down their screen time at night. So, ideally an hour and a half before. However, what I did is I started with half an hour. Now, I mean, you sound like a child, like as though you've got to be told, but we are addicted to these beeps and sounds and lights. They're designed that way. I'll actually put my phone in the kitchen saying, right, it's away from me at 9 at night, and I'll be sneaking into it like a teenager, right? So again, it's not like I'm sitting here saying I'm perfect, but if we're not sleeping well, these strategies do work. And I would say start with half an hour, then an hour, get it on airplane mode. If you have to say to someone, take it out the room or keep it away from me, because it does affect, and actually cutting out my Kindle at night helped me.
Oh, that's interesting, because I always thought as a Kindle has a different light.
Yeah, well, honestly, it really, really helped me. I went back to books in bed at night, so I still have my Kindle if I ever get a chance to, well, mainly in holiday to be, not really during the day much, but back to books at night. And something that most women won't do that I would say has really helped me the most, and this is great no matter what age you are, is I have a notebook this side in my bedside drawer that I'm going to use the word journal, but it makes it sound like, oh, what do you do to journal? I don't know how to journal. This is just a discharge of everything that's going on in my head. It doesn't need to be sentences, it can be bullet points, but I will put in there maybe some things that have been nagging at me during the day. It might be someone or something that's annoyed me. It might be some things that I need to do tomorrow that I'm lying thinking about. So I would get that all down into pen and paper, even if someone's like brought out the rage in me, because like that happens a lot at this age as well. So I write it all down, and sometimes I might just wang it.
Who am I going to kill? Who am I going to murder next?
I actually score it out again, like after written it, just because I'm like mad with it. But all those things going down into there means that they're less likely to be buzzing about in your head. I call it nighttime reflection. It's a posh word for a bit of Dear Diary, right? And the truth is, we're all going to probably be arrested or divorced if these things are ever found. But the point is, your brain has been emptied of this information. And I honestly found that although the caffeine beneficial and being out exercising, it's that nighttime routine. A lot of my clients use skincare as part of that, because it's just their time. And again, what happens is you're out at work all day, you're dealing with kids, all the things that we have in our plate in middle age, and we come in, the kids are in bed, or the teenagers are in their rooms, or everybody's away out, and you put your feet up and you think you deserve to watch the telly, deserve the glass of wine, whatever it may be. Now, it's not that we can't do these things, but if you're replaying or adding on another episode of your box set and you're not having a good sleep at night, then we need to have a wee bit of like, I'm a grown-ass woman, I need some responsibility here. And actually, see, when you start a nighttime routine, even if it just starts, you do it one night a week, your body will thank you for it. Up a bit of skincare, reading your book. I mean, even sitting here now saying this, it sounds like bliss, right? You're going up, you're looking at yourself, you're reading, you maybe got a candle lit in your room, you're going to do a little bit of meditation is obviously great as well. I'm not so good with meditation at bedtime because I do fall asleep doing it, and then I've got earphones in, and I don't like that. So it's whether that works for you. If you're alone in bed, then it's great because you can have it on your phone. But I do find that really gets you in hypnotherapy recordings as well. All that sort of thing's amazing.
And I think it's just as well, you were saying about, us all talking about sleeping in the morning, and, it's a bit like when the kids were wee and you would hear the baby crying and you would check your watch, it'd be 7 a.m. and you'd be like, yes, they've slept for 8 hours or something. So you're automatically in a good mood. And I think there's a bit of that as well. When you've slept all through the night, psychologically, you just feel set for the day. Whereas when you've had that disturbed sleep, and, obviously we're going to be talking more about other areas, about kind of aging well and talking about diet and strength training and all the kind of the other things and mindset. But see, if you don't get enough sleep, I do think it is just one of the worst.
Number one important
you get
thing
that right,
alongside.
It'll set you up more. And I think it helps you stay a bit more motivated. You're just a bit, things are just a bit clearer, aren't they?
The world's against you if you've not had a good sleep. Now, sleep and stress, to me, if I have clients that come to me and they're not sleeping and they're stressed out their minds, the last thing I'm going to do is have them eating less food than they need, because that's another stress on the body. The last thing I'm going to do is having them exercising more than they should be, because it's just piling on physical stress as well as mental. I've never slept. I don't remember ever sleeping through the night.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm the opposite.
But everybody is different in what they need as well. But again, a really important thing to kind of round this off is you could be doing or follow the route that you're going to do everything I suggested here, and that might still not stop your sleep from being disturbed. You might still get night sweats. And again, that is when you need to speak to your doctor.
Of course.
Because again, missing out on sleep has really longer term health problems, increases mortality. So we do need to make sure, HRT again could be the missing link for women who aren't sleeping. And actually, I think it's about 65% of women over 60 suffer from insomnia. So see all your ladies that are saying, I've not got the night sweats and everything anymore. And then you actually say to them, how do you sleep? That's a super interesting question, because very few of them say well.
Yeah.
So, don't think that there's never help to be got. It doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah.
So, but again, as far as general tips are concerned, if you were to do all those things, you're setting yourself up for success. And then if it still isn't working out, then maybe HRT is the missing part of the puzzle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much for that, Kirsty. Insightful as always. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Okay, brilliant.
Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.